Hello and welcome to another episode of Follow Me by Vanishing Arts. In today's episode, we're going to talk about third vanishing point a bit more in depth. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So right now I'm going to try to visually explain to you when, why and where does the third vanishing point occur when you look at the object in 3D space. For the sake of this example, let's say that this little rectangle is you and me, and this is the object that we look at. So we've got eyes here, we see the top, we see the bottom, and in here, on our eye level, is the horizon line, which is going to be represented in a drawing, and we're going to be using it to place the vanishing points on it. In this case, we can clearly see that this distance between our eyes and this top corner is way bigger than this distance. And it's even bigger than this distance, which is from our eyes into this object once we're looking at it straight on. So where's the catch? The catch is that once we're looking at an object with the field of view of a human eye, we actually cannot tell, once we're looking at an object straight on, that there is anything like the third vanishing point possible to notice. So let's scale it up a bit. That's the box. And once we are looking at it straight on, we cannot tell that once we look at an object straight on, that we can tell at the same time, and we are focused in here, that's important, and at the same time we can say that this distance is way bigger than this distance. Let's say this is X and this is Y. I'm not referring to X and Y axes. Just keep in mind that this can be A and B. I'm just doing it to present to you and to distinguish that these lines are slightly longer and of the same length than this one. So in this situation, once our focus in real life is in here, and our focus is under the 90 degrees angle to the object that we look at, there is no third vanishing point. But what happens if we angle our point of view? That's the same object over here, and that's the same person. But let's say that this time its focus is over here, and with our field of view, to scale it up, to exaggerate it a bit, let's say this is our field of view, and we can clearly see that there is something going on, because this line, even on a small distance, we will be able to see that this point is slightly further than this point. So what does it tell us? That in here may be the third vanishing point, because there is another platform, another convergence to the perspective according to distance. Because perspective is nothing more than representing the relation between distance and size and scale of what we see. In perspective, we see objects in a different way just because of these changing distances. And that's why, if that was the same street light, they would be from the biggest to the smallest one arranged in perspective. So in here, once we look up, it's kind of the same situation, because even though there's still going to be two vanishing points that will place the object in the three-dimensional space for us, there's going to be another one going towards up or towards down. The same situation is going to be over here. So once we've come into this conclusion, let's try to see how big of an effect does it have in a 3D space once we're going to try to draw it and illustrate it. I'm going to present to you two situations. On the left side, just going to be a regular perspective with the horizon line placed in a bottom, and on the right side is going to be a bird view with a horizon line placed on top. Let's start with the first vanishing point. It's going to be, for this example, I'm going to make it over here and over here, and just some lines, the convergence lines. These are our guidelines. And just let's say that this object on the right side is going to be under the horizon line. On both sides, we're going to draw a simple box. On the right side, convergence is going to be like that, into the vanishing point somewhere over there, far away on the right side. If you do not know why I'm not placing the vanishing points here, make sure to check the previous video, the first one of the series, in which I explained in details why does it happen and why is it like that. And the same in here. So for now, let's say that these lines are the very center of our perspective, which means there is the 90 degrees angle between the vertical line and the horizon line in both cases. Why is it? Because on this side, we take a look at an object from above, and the line and the distance from our eyes into this corner is going to be longer than distance from our eyes into this corner, which means the lines are going to be converging towards this direction. The object is going to get smaller and smaller the lower we look. That's why the third vanishing point is going to be down there. In here, however, we look at an object like that, and this distance is going to be bigger than this distance. And all of the rays, the distances, they're going to go towards up into hypothetically the same place. Whoa, that would be just a continuation up in the space. Will be longer and longer and longer. This means that the vanishing point is going to be somewhere over there. The lines will converge into it. Knowing all of that, now we just make a simple decision upon the faces of these boxes. I will make a decision like so, and keeping in mind that the third vanishing point is not going to be anywhere close to this edge, we just try to estimate the convergence. I think it's really valuable that in these episodes I'm not going to cut out all of the mistakes of mine that I do while drawing, so you can feel better and understand that everyone makes mistakes, but we just have to know how to correct them and how to learn from them. Now I'm just checking for the back face. Where should the cross points be? And in here I'm going to do the same thing to make sure everything's okay. It's not going to be easy because working in perspective on such a narrow slice really close to horizon line is always really tricky. It's way easier to work on a slice like that where you can see all of this face quite clear, in opposite to this situation where even the slightest inconsistency in your lines, in your wrist, in your position can make it way off. But hey, we kinda made it. It is not absolutely perfect, but for this example, I think it's really okay. I always encourage my students to try to draw the third vanishing point and learn how to operate it in this perspective. It's way easier because you can see every single face from the same perspective. They just get more narrow and more invisible towards the horizon line, but once everything is up below the horizon line, it's way easier to see and search to seek for mistakes. So what I'm doing right now is I'm actually looking for my own mistakes. I'm trying to see if these cross points will give me the third vanishing point's direction. It's not perfect, unfortunately. I made some mistakes, and I see that I made some mistakes in this top face because these lines apparently do not converge. Here it's way off. This one should be way lower. But hey, it doesn't look bad, so once you've got this right, you clearly see that this line is going to be way more angled towards the left. So once we know all that, as a summary, I would like to show to you that once this is the vertical line, all of the lines on the right are going to be leaning slightly to the right side, and all of the lines to the left are going to be leaning slightly to the left side. But in here, all of the lines to the right are going to be leaning to the left side, and these lines lean to the right. So that's the convergence, as well as that was the one of the vanishing points, and the horizon line was actually here. That will be the same situation. This is somewhere on this sort of another horizon line. Okay, so that's it. I hope that with this episode, I helped you to understand the third vanishing point and its presence in your drawings. If you liked this video, just make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video, and let me know in the comments if there's anything you would like me to cover in the future tutorial videos. Also keep in mind there is a giveaway going on. Each 1,000 subs, I will give away one drawing of mine to one lucky winner. As always, happy drawing and see you in another video. Bye!